Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a great day. In today's story, OP and her husband find their children fighting, but when they find out the reason why, they can't believe it. It's much worse than what they think. Am I the idiot for favoring my stepson? Hi, I just want some outside perspective. I have two kids, Stefan, 17 male, and Angie, 19 female, and my husband has a son, Dean, 17 male. Stefan and Dean are very close, and have been the best of friends since before my husband and I got married. Angie is pretty close to both as well, but her and Dean butt heads pretty often. Anyways, while my husband and I were in our bedroom, we heard yelling from the living room. We ran down and found all three kids yelling at each other. We managed to get them to relax, but they refused to tell us what happened. Later, Stefan told me that Dean joked about Angie's boyfriend. He said, "Is he finally leaving you?" And she retaliated by bringing up Dean's mother. She said something along the lines of, "Yeah, he's leaving me just like your mother, brother and sisters left your ass." I confirmed with Angie and Dean, and well, my husband and I are honestly really upset. You see, Dean's mother and siblings didn't leave, they passed away. While Dean was in the wrong as well, I'm kind of horrified by my daughter immediately jumping to his deceased family. Because of this, I told Angie that I wanted her to sign up for this volunteer thing at a local bakery that is honoring the lives of the deceased. It's being run by a very close friend of mine, and is hard work, but you learn a lot about grieving and the sort. I signed her up for a week and it was very memorable. I told her it was either this, or she wouldn't be able to use my car anymore, so she chose the bakery. I'm also not buying her tickets to see some artist, but I'm willing to buy them if she apologizes. Dean was lectured by his father and has to do a few extra chores. Well, after about 2 days of volunteering, Angie started complaining that I was favoring Dean, my stepson, over her, my biological daughter. She doesn't see why Dean can disrespect her first, but she can't say anything back. She also said that her boyfriend is a sensitive topic and that I don't get to decide which situation is worse. My mother backed her up on this and says I'm in the wrong here too. Both her and my daughter say that I should have insisted on a harsher punishment for Dean, and that again, it's very insensitive of me to decide that a certain situation is worse. I see what they mean, but I don't know. Maybe I am being insensitive towards her and maybe I am being too harsh. I just think that my daughter could have said literally anything else instead. So, am I the idiot? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I might be the a-hole here because my daughter and mother have a point when they say I can't just choose which situation is worse. I may also be overdoing my daughter's punishment, considering it was a stupid argument, and my daughter is technically an adult. Edit. I've been getting the same comments about the same things, so I'm editing some extra info. Stefan came up to me and told me what happened without anyone asking. It is very important that we're aware of any possible reactions that Dean has towards the mention of his mother and siblings, for multiple reasons. Dean and Angie do get along. They banter back and forth, and argue over petty things, like where'd you put my hairbrush, I want the car on Sunday, etc., but they are close. This is the first time they've gone too far, no one is bullying anyone. They've been living together since they were 9 and 10, and think of each other as siblings. Dean calls me mom and Angie calls my husband dad. Even after this fight, they refer to each other as brother and sister. Angie and her boyfriend are still together, and are in a good place from what I know. Her BF was over last night and the two have been together since they were 16. Dean's extra chores are for 2 weeks and Angie is volunteering for a week and a half. OP also gives more info in the comments. I honestly didn't expect this from her. I know every parent says this about their kids, but I just couldn't believe it. I don't know, no, she hasn't experienced losing someone, as far as I'm aware. Maybe it's because of this reason, but I don't know, again, I'm just shocked. It sounds like she's getting constantly bullied by her stepbrother, day after day after day. Okay, So I don't know why you're assuming she's getting bullied by her stepbrother, for months, and day after day. The two normally get along pretty well, they just fight over small things that are sometimes Angie's fault, sometimes Dean's and sometimes no one's. It's called being siblings and both of them face consequences depending on the circumstances, only this time, my daughter went way too far. They banter a lot, but it's never, ever, overly mean. And neither Dean or Angie bully each other, again, they get along well. They do consider each other siblings, they've been living together since they were 9 and 10, and call each other brother and sister. Even after this fight, Angie still refers to him as her brother and Dean refers to her as his sister. Do you know if your daughter and her boyfriend are actually okay? Sometimes jokes have a kernel of truth in them. They're pretty solid and my daughter is very happy with him, he was here last night actually and he's a good kid. The reason Dean commented on if he was finally leaving, is because the two have been together since they were 16. Then why was she so upset? She says that everyone's always telling her that he's gonna leave her because he'll get bored or will want something new, etc. And Dean's comment was the cherry on top, but like you and other commenters have said, there may be something I'm missing. Dean and my husband talked privately about what happened, because Dean, obviously, doesn't react well to the mention of his mother and siblings. It is very important that we're aware. The volunteers basically help a local bakery set up, organize and bake for a group of people dealing with grief. It's therapeutic apparently, and was a way for one of my friends to heal. My daughter is doing great, she isn't acting up and despite her complaining, has admitted to being more understanding. Nobody minds her there either. How long did Dean have to do extra chores? Should be a week at least as long as Angie's punishment is. Dean is doing extra chores for 2 weeks, Angie is volunteering for 1.5. Also again, like I said in my post, the two get along well. They just clash more than Stefan and Angie or Stefan and Dean, this is the first time they've fought like this in years. Angie's work was to provide empathy, did that happen? Did Dean understand that his behavior was mean? Yes, Angie has admitted to being more understanding of how grief works, despite the complaining. Dean also apologized to Angie, and admitted that he wasn't really thinking of how much his words hurt. He made one comment, which I confirmed with my daughter, and got punished for it, because he is 17 and should know better. The only reason my daughter has to volunteer, is because she brought up his deceased mother and siblings. Honestly, if she said something like, yeah, just like you our girlfriend dumped you, I would not be this upset with her. And no one is enabling Dean, he was reprimanded and then apologized. He's not ignoring her or being rude to her for saying what she did either. He is not the problem and while my daughter isn't a problem, I believe she was in the wrong. And OP also say. Okay, so I've gotten a lot of comments saying that Dean's a bully, and is constantly bullying my daughter, so even though I was sure he isn't, I decided to talk to my daughter. Because of how many people insisted, despite my comments. We talked a lot about life and eventually I asked her if Dean was bullying her, she looked at me as if I was crazy. I promised her that if he was, that I'd have her back and that it made the entire situation different, but she told me to chill. She said that no, he was not bullying her and that yeah, she reacted aggressively, but it was because of drama with her friends, and after Dean made that one comment she exploded. She admitted that she literally wouldn't have cared if he said it any other day. She told me that she and Dean are good, and they even talked last night. Stefan and Dean are going to some hockey game tonight as well. My daughter does not have a problem with Dean, her problem was with me. And I think another person pointed it out but she was ashamed of what she said and was trying to convince herself it was okay. She told my mother what happened and my mother gave her the whole, I'm your biological daughter, he's your stepson, idea. In conclusion, I still have to talk to Dean and see how he's doing. I posted on here to ask if I was the a-hole for giving my daughter a harsher punishment, and while I did get some solid judgment, a lot of people were more focused on telling me that my stepson is a bully. I'm sorry if I'm coming across as rude, but I'm not the best at emotions, especially through text. Well, OP, you're not an idiot. The punishment you and husband gave them is nothing out of the ordinary. I believe this was an argument between siblings that ended up getting out of control. They knew what was going to hurt each other and ended up saying what they said in the heat of the moment. I get that some people might think that it was better for you to let them deal with it alone, but when the loss of a loved one or some trigger comes up during a fight/argument, it's better for the responsible one, in this case, you and your husband, to be aware and intervene if necessary. But I also understand that people are worried that something else is going on between Angie and Dean, as well as in her relationship with her boyfriend. It would be good for you to talk to her to better understand the whole situation, as well as with Dean, to see if things are really okay between them. And what do you guys think about this situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? How would you deal with it? Do you think she is doing the right thing? Don't forget to leave your thoughts down below. Now let's read what the comments say before going to the update. I have a feeling you already know this, but no, you're not an a-hole for that. Your stepson's comment was mean, but your daughter's was by far worse. Your daughter needs to work on not saying heinous things to people. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm the a-hole, but my mother and daughter do, which is why I'm trying to get some more perspective. You are the idiot. We don't have a full context, so it's hard to answer, but it sounds like Dean started it, so it doesn't make sense for him to receive less punishment. But regardless of that, you are the idiot, because you are punishing your late teenage kids for a verbal argument. I can understand talking to them about it and letting your daughter know you disapprove of what she said, but actually punishing her sounds ridiculous and unnecessary. See, if this was a small argument, I wouldn't have done anything except talking to them about it, but my daughter is 19 years old, she should know better than to bring up her stepbrother's deceased family members. And Dean is still 17, again, if this was a harmless argument, there would be no actual punishment, but he is also old enough to know not to go too far. Not the idiot, you have reacted equally to the words and actions of Angie and Dean. Dean shouldn't have said what he did and was punished for it. Angie's response was horrifically cruel. The topic of Dean's deceased family never, ever should have passed her lips. She really effed up and was punished accordingly. You responded to the level of pain inflicted. Not the idiot, if your daughter thinks boyfriend troubles compared to the deaths of most of your close family members, she is one of the most entitled and selfish a-holes I've read about this month. And that's saying something considering the current state of the world. I'm also absolutely appalled at your mother. While your daughter at least is young and hasn't experienced loss yet, I'd assume your mother has and should definitely know that what your daughter said was inexcusable in itself. But defending herself by comparing their losses made it even worse. Not the idiot, you definitely did the right thing. How is a joke about a boyfriend leaving you vaguely comparable to making a nasty comment about parents and siblings that have died? Which situation is worse? Come on. Your daughter was hugely insensitive, and the fact that she cannot see that as a problem, the punishments doled out were correct, and your daughter owes Dean an apology. Don't allow your mother and daughter to second-guess you. This is not about favoritism, it's about right and wrong. Also, if your daughter is so sensitive about her boyfriend, maybe she has reason to be, but that is her issue. And what about you guys? What do you think of the comments? Do you agree with them? Would you advise OP anything else? Do you think the punishments were enough? Don't forget to leave your comments down below. Now let's go to the update. Oh, and I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If so, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. Now let's go to the update. Update, am I the idiot for favoring my stepson? Hi everyone, I just wanted to update you all as a lot of you seemed concerned. But before I start, I just wanted to say I'm sorry if I sounded a bit defensive in my replies. I've been getting a lot of mean messages saying really cruel things about my stepson and his family members, and I was in shock. Then again, I should have expected it, LOL. People are too comfortable on the internet. Anyways, I mentioned this in a comment, but I went out to eat with my daughter the day after I made the post. Because many people brought it up, I asked her if Dean is bullying her. She asked me if I was being serious. I told her that she's my daughter and I will always have her back, and if he was bullying her then I wouldn't hesitate to do something about it. She reassured me and said that he is not bullying her. The only reason she made that comment is because she's fighting with one of her friends and took her anger out on Dean. She also said that she was ashamed and couldn't believe she said such a cruel thing considering she knows how much it affects him. She tried convincing herself that she was right and used my mother, who has always been against my marriage, to put her to ease. I told her that while I was disappointed, I'm glad that she's owning up. She then told me that she apologized to Dean and is taking him and Stefan to see a game. They're also going to get dinner. Dean apologized to her as well. I talked to Dean a few hours after the three got home from their outing. I'm not going to say much about this convo, but it was emotional and we were both in tears. Just in case, I spent some one-on-one time with Stefan as well. He's been stressed because the two people he loves the most weren't talking to each other, and he didn't want to choose between them. Overall, I think everything was settled quite nicely. Angie's last day of volunteering is tomorrow and she seems pretty sad about it. She's become pretty close to the ladies at the bakery. On a brighter note, she finally knows what she wants to do in life, and will be working with the bakery owner. She's also looking up apprenticeships and the sort, hopefully she sticks to it. This is a really great update. I'm happy for you and your family. I'm glad your kids made up, and things are good between them. I also hope that your daughter has already resolved everything with her friends. But I would also like to know why OP's mother is against her marriage, why she would do something like that to cause problems in her family, especially since they have been married for so long. Well, what did you think of this update? Did you like it? Would you like something else to have happened? Don't forget to leave your comments below. And that's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, go watch the video that is appearing on the screen right now or click on one of our playlists that are in the description to watch more videos. Until next time.